All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a bit late. I was gonna do it yesterday, or about a day ago, 1 or 2 days ago. But basically, I just wanted to get everybody's community reaction on the new banner. I will say my thoughts. I'll go over your guys, react to it. Some of them I'll just probably breeze by if it's nothing too important. Like I reacted to some of these on stream, and almost half of them are I summoned and I got shafted, or I summoned and I got lucky. I'm not reading any of those. I would just want to know your take on the banner. Congrats if you got him, or unfortunate if you got shafted. I think personally I got pretty shafted. I went 10 steps, should have stopped at 5, and I don't want to go to pity on this banner. But I think the characters are cool. I think ICHIGO is very good. Unfortunate of his killer. I think the killer is that what brings him down realistically. And I also think instead of Diminisher, he should have had Berserker, and he would have been amazing. He still is very good. At 1 out of 5, I've seen a 49-second clear in a very difficult guild quest, to be honest. And then I don't know what a 5-5 can get. People were speculating 57 seconds before he dropped, so who really knows? I haven't seen anything. We'll have to wait to see how ULQUIORRA performs on his guild quest. But I think he realistically is a bit underwhelming. The fact that he doesn't have any EX skill, his SA2 doesn't have status elements, and he also doesn't have a way to keep mobs in place, which is like one of the biggest gripes in these kind of guild quests. I'm not gonna lie, I crash out when I use a strong attack and they go flying across the map, and you can't, if you don't one-shot them, they go flying. It's not very fun. And he also has a shave on his SA1, which isn't that great. But ICHIGO I think is great. And then the format. I'm not very interested in the format. I think the format is very bad. Way too much filler. It should have been a 9-character filler with these guys included. And then it should have been a mid-month banner crown format. Or because it's a live stream, I really think they should have done a pick or a pity ticket for the 2 new characters at step 10, But besides that, I think the animations, cool. I like the animations. I like the art. I like the background. Because if it wasn't this background right here, we'd have that ugly, ugly, ugly premium character background. Mugetsu's art, I like his arts, like his pose and all that, but that ugly red and blue background is disgusting on an anniversary remake, which is what these characters are, or at least ICHIGO. Obviously, ULQUIORRA is kind of just, who else would you put with him, realistically, since they already separated Mugetsu. But I like him. I will say the model, mainly on ULQUIORRA's, is a vast improvement because the old Heart one looked incredibly outdated. But Full Hollow, I think they just went really hard on the 4th anniversary models because it does almost look the same. I won't lie. It does almost look the same, but it looks very good. It doesn't have that 1000-year Blood War design, which I know that somebody commented on that. Obviously, it's not going to have the 1000-year Blood War design. That's a completely different art style. And because it's not in 1000-year Blood War. So, yeah. But either way, let's go on to the comments and let's see what people have to say. So, Sachin Moon looks cool, but I think I'll keep saving for another banner. Fair enough. Plus, they're premium, so you could potentially pull them in tickets. They could also potentially be filler on Anniversary. That's another thing, because we did get quite a bit of the early 2024 filler on Anniversary last year. Okay, that is summoning. Ardarsh, both of them are very good. I agree, I think they're great. I just think ICHIGO performs better. I'm going to say Kunt. Well, the 2 forms look cool objectively out of the art, but I'm pretty bummed about the lack of a trailer. I can understand that. I feel as though if they're doing a live stream, they could have at least put together a trailer. They're not a must-summon for me. I went 5 steps and didn't get any of them, and that's just fine. I'll get them later on. I'm good with Shinji and Misaki. Fair enough. I know Shinji can clear. Did I clear the Shinji? No. I reduced to using Macy, and I had a better time for it. I don't know how, but I did. Muslim Empath 5 steps. Okay, that is a summon one. John Barrow went 2 steps. Unit designs are amazing. Kit is also great. My only issue is that both should have introduced Sprinter Plus, Longshot, and 1 skill because lore-wise they're extremely fast characters. Don't think lore matters at all, to be honest, but honestly I would not complain if they actually merge these 2 skills because I think it just kind of takes up space. Might as well just do it, kind of like how Marauder and what is the other one, Sharpshooter, are kind of a merged skill, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I'm just tired and I can't remember what it is. Fillers also dog water, and wish they made it possible to get a guaranteed unit on step 10 with better fillers, of course, but good banner nonetheless. Basically the same. It should have been at least a 50-50 for one of them at step 10. Then I would have at least had one of the new characters, and I wouldn't be complaining too much. And also the filler was better because I got 7 ULQUIORRAs. Insane. Stylish, love both characters, don't care about the filler, down to 0. Hey, best of luck, hopefully you got them. Antho, the new units are good, even though I think this is a very easy skip. It's not because the units are disappointing or anything, they just lack that final push that would make them anniversary level. These characters are not anniversary level, or not anniversary. I understand what he means though, because they're like remakes, so I kinda am assuming that's what he means. It would make people want to summon, even though they're premium. So, a lot of people hate on the art style and animation, which I think they're just trying to find something to hate on at this point. Oh my god, okay, this one's loud. Because in terms of visuals, the units look gorgeous and the banners an easy skip, only if you're not a particularly big fan of this fight. If you're a fan of the units, are good enough to justify summoning. What disappointed me is they've treated this banner way worse than the other anniversary big celebration units they remade in the past. Every single one of those banners got that something to make people forget their premium, and someone like Riggatony, for example, was way better compared to the regular end of month we used to get last year, and it came along 2 new parasol units with both having good use and a guaranteed on the step 10. What I wish they did for this banner is, even if they kept the format and the GQ skills, at least give us that new shit, like give Ulq weakening on that second strong attack. That would have been something we didn't see before. I think there is a character with a status ailment on an SA2 boost. It's a super old Grimjow, I think, which is super funny. Or give ICHIGO normal Soul Reaper Killer to make him better in other content, since they didn't want to give him the normal Frenzy +3. I agree. I think they should give characters Killer Plus for their main GQ, so like ICHIGO will get Soul Reaper, or a Squad 0 Killer Plus, and then base Soul Reaper Killer. He can be usable outside of Guild Quest, in Limit Breaker Quest, in Link Slot Trials. He won't be the most meta unit in the Soul Reaper Guild Quest, but he'll be a very good alternative. And it'll make you have Killer against the side mobs, because the side mobs are tankier than the bosses at this point, which is insane. Or at least make the filler only super and regular Link Slot Potion Soul Traits. They give away 2 tickets that included Hallibel, Aaron, Hisagi, and Haribel as in the free multis. Why not put them in this banner instead of this boring mid-months? And this comes from a hardcore Geen fan, so I actually don't mind having the possibility of grabbing some extra copies of the 2 Geens, since I would like to have them 5-5 for me, even though the characters are great. This is a big fumble because they released it during this big celebration to have this banner. Oh my god, I can't talk that much. In the last end of month, I would have been fine with it, but the circumstance requires more love from Caleb. Those 2 clearly aren't worthy of a whole live stream. I agree. I don't think it was worthy of a whole live stream. I think they're very cool. I feel as though it would have been more impactful just to see their soul bombs, like when you boot up the game, and then the banner's there. But having to wait for this whole live stream, Also, did you actually type this whole thing out, by the way? That's crazy. Chug King, love the characters, but I do wish they didn't have GQ skills, but they're amazing as they are. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not going to reply to any more GQ-only comments. ULQUIORRA and ICHIGO are fine that they have GQ skills because they need it, mainly because they are only Guild Quest characters. Now, does it kind of suck that they're on these hype of a characters? Sure. But for these kind of characters, since they have boss killers, this is the only kind of content you will ever use these characters in. They don't have double killers or anything because they're kind of done doing that. It would lead to too much value, it seems. So, since they have GQ skills, but they have boss killers, I don't really care. Because you can't use them in Limit Breaker. You're just not going to. There's barely any characters that have boss killer that you would use them in Limit Breaker Quest. Link Slot Trials, you can still easily use these characters in. And then Epic Raids, they're bonus characters. They do enough damage. ULQUIORRA is a booster. That's good enough. He also has weakening, which is enough. ICHIGO has an insane damage output. Plus, he has a debuff Soul Bomb. So he's still going to cook absolutely insanely hard in Epic Raids. Like, they're fine. And in Guild Quest, that's the main chunk of the game where you get your most amount of orbs. So it's like, you kind of want them to be the best in Guild Quest. And it looks like ICHIGO is doing that. ULQUIORRA, not too sure yet. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. That's my take on the GQ skills. Well, I still wish that they had Berserker, because I think Ulq has 20% from the soul trait. I remember I fumbled that. But I know ICHIGO doesn't, and I do wish he did that. I do wish he has that. Genity, I did 10 steps and got Vassal Lord ICHIGO on my 10th. I just wish that they gave them 2 killers and not be solely Guild Quest focused on their innate skills. I don't do a lot of GQ. They get one-shot everything outside of GQ, so them being in GQ does not matter. Genuinely. Bleach versus the Ball. The characters are good for what they're made for, and I'm quite disappointed in the Zenith format, but always. Yeah, I remember reading this. I don't know what he said, but I think he said he went to 10 steps. It was full English, and then I'm like, huh? I have no idea what bro said. I assumed 10 split summons. I agree, the Zenith format is terrible. At least make it a crown summon, but obviously they saw people summoning, and they're like, hey, we did it. We got them. All Nog, I was hoping for different characters, but oh well, the Bride Orihime I got from the ticket is great. Okay. Alright, Robert said this is premium, so I'm going to skip. Bro, who is Robert? I remember reading this. I have no idea what bro means. Hitsu, well, Caleb decided to make recycle character and they nerfed the drop rate. I don't know if this is true, but first time in the world I didn't get any 5 stars, not mentioning guarantees, of course. Better would be half-mass Ichigo from Battle with Byakuya. They're so lazy and even use same voices from old Ichigo and new one. 10 steps, and I'm stopping on that. Alright, so the first one, recycle characters. Yes, it is a recycled character from like 2015. Oh my god, Shaka, that's crazy. Insane. Also, this is a remake of an anniversary character. We get one almost every single year. ULQUIORRA is just the biggest, like, one to, like, collide with Ichigo. That's why he's being remade. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have had him remade. Also, I like this more than just getting 2 random seasonals, to be honest, like Mugetsu's banner. And him talking about nerfing the 5-star drops, people thought this was the point of it, but no. One, they already fixed the point of it. And 2, it sounds like he's talking about summoning 5 stars. You just got fucking shafted. You didn't. They cannot lower the summon rates. That is illegal for a gacha game to do that. If they actually nerf the rates, it would have that in the pull description. They cannot nerf. They cannot drop it. I guarantee you, people have went 20, 25 steps without getting an actual 5-star, because guess what? It's RNG. You're not guaranteed a 5-star. I don't know how to tell you this, little bro. This is the casino with a little game involved. That's all this game is. So if you got shafted, the house fucked you. That's essentially all it is. Now, would have Max Ichigo be cool? Yes, because he would technically be a whole new character. But it's like, okay, maybe they're saving that. I don't know. This game is going to have remakes. It's been going for 10 years. Like, they're going to remake characters. They can't just keep making brand new characters. The game would shut down. Like, any gacha game would shut down if they can't remake characters. That's just how it goes. And then the voice lines, I truthfully don't care because I don't play with sound on. The only time I play with sound on is when I record a video. But, yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't really care about voice lines because it's like, it's probably from the anime. That's probably why they used it. Unless he means a summon quote. Unless they use the summon quote, then sure, I guess, but is that really all you're complaining about, the summon quote? Like, that is like the least memorable thing of a unit. Dead Inside love both characters, but not a must summon in my opinion. Also, the filler is horrendous. I agree. Bungie, disappointed their GQ characters, but they're still really good regardless. Got Ichigo in step 5. Okay, I'm curious what people want for characters in this game. Because where are you using a character with a boss killer like Squad Zero, like Espada? Where are you using these characters that they're not one-shotting? Because they're one-shotting in Limit Breaker Quest. They're cooking in in Epic Raids. Like, I don't know where people are like, oh man, I really wish they had 1,000% more damage in this certain quest. It's like, why? You're never going to use them in Limit Breaker Quest because they don't have killer. They will never have killer. If anything, you should be disappointed that they don't have a PvE killer, like a Ronkar, Soul Reaper, Quincy, something like that. That I can understand, but GQ skills generally don't even matter since it's mainly a GQ game now. Valkyrie like them, hate filler, hate that they have GQ stats, but in all, you just literally said like you hate everything basically. But in all, I'm happy I did 5 steps for 1,000 bubble for Senju, so it was a skip. Wish filler was better. Okay. A torrent of emotion right there. Wings, GQ skills and a lack of Berserker are kind of meh, but other than that, I really like them. ULQUIORRA's SA2 is super good to use. It actually doesn't sound like it is because he's not going to have Poise Break. I actually forgot to mention that. He does not have Poise Break, and 5 of the waves are going to have Poise. So I don't know if he's actually going to do better than Masaki. But to wait and see. It will take me some time to get used to both of them being ranged, but overall great units. Fair, I guess. GQ skills though, I've already went over it. Very exciting, but not a must summon. That's basically how I would sum it up. ICHIGO is my dog, but ULQUIORRA got this one. His SA2 is kind of nice. A barrier, then a vortex. Yeah, he got this one. I've already mentioned the vortex. I don't think it's that great. Might be worth 5 steps at the least. I went 5 steps. You got 2 ulks. W. I hoped ICHIGO would have been the Espada killer, and Heart. I really don't care about ULQUIORRA anymore. I honestly kind of wish he was the Espada killer too, because we really did not need a replacement for Shinji. And in my place, Macy, because I used Macy. I didn't like Shinji's strong attack kit, and I actually did pretty well with Macy. But yeah, I agree. I feel like ICHIGO should have been the Espada killer, to be honest. Why do we have 3 orcs that are all Espada killers? Visored only summoned because I like the characters. Didn't really need either. Got ICHIGO in 5 steps, and that is good enough. It should have been a crown summon, in my opinion. Would have gone 10 steps easily. Yeah, I wish. We should be getting a mine attribute at the end of the month. Wavy, they're sick AF, and we've been waiting for these two forever. Yeah, like we've been waiting for a remake for about 6 years now for ICHIGO, and about like for this version of Ulk, like I guess it's been like 3 years, but like the Heart one is what they're remaking, the super old one where he's like holding the spear like this, kind of from like 2017 or something. Jeffrey, I feel like ICHIGO doesn't feel like the star. I think ULQUIORRA, I don't know how to spell the name, please be nice, performs better. He doesn't have an EX. He doesn't have a debuff on his SA2. He has very slow recharge. He doesn't have poise break. He is not the main lead. I'm sorry to say this. He is not the main lead. Like, easily. It could have been a lot better to compete with end of year, but I'm happy nevertheless. Psych, 9 steps in and 3 5 stars, 2 new, not the featured, and 1 2. Yikes. Ichigo's kind of towards end of year. Kind of. He's like high 50s if I had to guess at 5'5". But we'll have to wait and see what like the GQ sweats actually gets. Because yet again I haven't seen a 5'5" run. But yeah, I don't think ULQUIORRA is anywhere near end of year worthy, like skill or kit wise. But it's like, are we expecting end of year worthy? I guess because of the live stream, I was kind of expecting them to go all out, but I'm not surprised they didn't go all out. Libora, ICHIGO, and Ulk looks cool, but the fillers are bad. I agree. We got X. In my opinion, Full Hollow just sells this banner. Everyone wanted a broken Full Hollow, and we got just that. In an attribute like Speed, he'll stand out as he is just built different. Disappointed on the Ulk, him being the range of Spider-Man we asked for, and just a bad SA1. Yeah, it's a pushback attack, a shave. SA2 boost is mid. I agree without an EX skill like Soifan. And the worst part is it being a Zenith summons. They took a huge L. I agree. The Zenith format, terrible. Pushi, the artworks are beautiful, but sadly it's not worth my orbs. GQ kits are ass. Yet again, guys, let me know, what do you guys play in the game if you don't do guild quests? Yeah, I'm curious. I've seen this comment thrown around so many times, and I used to hate it too, because it's like we didn't need the GQ skills, but now you kind of need them, unless it's like an end of year character. I guess we have Asna, so I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like the GQ skills are didn't Asna get GQ skills though? He might have actually. He might have. I think he actually did. I'm thinking of Driscoll. He didn't get GQ skills, but yeah, GQ skills are pretty good in GQ. It's crazy, but I don't know. Jessen, banner format sucks. Shouldn't have been a Zenith. I agree. I don't know what this comment is talking about. Adi says overhyped, to be honest. I mean, if you don't like Full Hollow, I mean, fair enough, I guess. I prefer Mugetsu, so you know, like Full Hollow is cool. Like, he's like probably third favorite form, but you know, I still like it. X-Men, this banner's garbage, and I knew it was gonna be a skip. I don't know why I stayed up all night waiting for this mid banner. Yet again, I don't know what to tell you. Full Hollow is cool. I think the banner format overall really killed it. But I think the two characters are very cool, and the animations. Vanilla, I wish they were 1000 or lower versions, because I find 1000 or lower versions prettier than OG anime, but they're cool. Yet again, they are not in 1000 or lower, so they cannot get 1000 or lower designs. I don't know why you would ever think that they're getting 1000 or lower designs. I assume because they just kind of look more sleek, and that's what they're talking about, but these forms are not in 1000 or lower, so we aren't getting, like, original 1000 or lower designs. The 1000 or lower designs we get that aren't canon are just seasonals. that's what they are. I like their pose and their soul bump, but their animations, strong attacks are mid. I mean, I think it looks cool. Mid strong attack skills, trash fillers, basically a bait banner. I'm skipping it. I think my Shinji and Annie Zaraki can clear it. I don't know about Kenpachi. We'll have to wait and see, but Shinji can clear it. Mid strong attack skills. I don't know. I think Ichigo has really good skills. I'd say Ulq could have done a bit better. Mainly on the strong attack kit, to be honest, though. Strong attack kit is kind of lackluster. Everything else, I think he has good skills. As long as you take out, like, the booster and stuff, but, you know. Does not like full hollow. There we go. Leo, great art. I'm glad they're premium, so I don't have to summon, but having them be GQ bots is kind of cringe, and the filler pool is pretty cheeks. I like the character and hope I can pull them someday, but I ain't summoning the main banner for them. Yeah, I like that they're premium. You can pull them from tickets later on, hopefully. Took me almost 2 years to pull one Ichigo from tickets. 8th Annie. Yet again, already went over GQ. Slifer literally comes down to either you like the character or not, but I'm glad I summoned for my GOAT. Got him first multi. W. Also, I agree. Summon for your favorites. That's what I would probably say. I've heard that there's just too many of my favorites coming, so that's why I'm like full hollow. I already have Mugetsu, and I already have a full hollow in my box. Yeah, I should have stopped at step 5. Soul Reaper recycled. Characters released for the 3rd or 4th time. I'm on a break from BBS, but I wasn't. I'd still be definitely be skipping. Recycle they are remaking characters that are like 10 years old, 5 years old. Okay, oh, wow, like. And it's only like one character. It's Ichigo, and then ULQUIORRA is like 8 years old. Like, be real. Like, there's only so many characters they can do, and they had a huge streak of 1000 or Blood War, and people complained about that. And then when they do it to 1000 or Blood War, people cry and piss their pants like, oh my god, it's not the new 1000 or Blood War character. Ooh. And a lot of the manga 1000 or Blood War characters are being remade because their designs are inaccurate, their strong attacks aren't accurate, their color pattern aren't accurate, so they're making an anime 1000 Blood War design. That's why a lot of characters are getting remade, not these ones, but 1000 Blood War, because it's the anime 1000 Blood War. So when they're not doing constant 1000 Blood War, I'm gonna give Caleb a little bit of praise, because getting constant 1000 Blood War that's super limited is kind of exhausting. Moon Brown, I went 2 steps. Okay, that's just summoning. Rope and tired of GQ characters, cool. And then we have an Abdominal at the very bottom, which you can't see. I was gonna pull, but I did one step and got Vassalo to Ichigo. He plays odd. He feels odd, like he's missing animations or something. He feels very weird. Their artwork is also very boring. Nothing is going on behind them, like any special looking background. For 10th Annie, the characters just feel dull. Not 10th Annie characters. Ichigo, his attacks are very fast, but I think that's the point. I think that's the point, just to let loose your attack really fast, which is better for gameplay, because if you get stuck in an animation, like Senjumaru, I feel like gets stuck in animations pretty often. Her SA2 feels quite slow. It's not satisfying to play with, you know? It's just how it is. And then their artwork being very boring, put that, because these are premium characters, so, and they're also fighting in a super dark area. If I pull up BBS, this is where they're fighting. It's gonna be a black background. They're in, is this Hoiko? What is the exact place this is called? Las Noches? Las Noches? Where they're ULQUIORRA and Ichigo are fighting? It's pitch black. Like, it's pitch black. Like, I guess they could have added the moon in the background. That would have been a kind of cool aesthetic. But besides that, it's gonna be a dark background. Otherwise, it's that ugly red and blue background, and I'm sorry, we're not getting moving animations. This isn't Legends that does that. This isn't Legends. I think they have animated backgrounds. Like BBS doesn't do that. BBS just does not do that. I don't know why you would ever expect BBS to do that when they've never done that. Like, the closest thing to a moving background they have is when you click on the character in the screen, and they have that. They have like that. Like that's the moving background, I guess, is all they have. But besides that, they don't really have that. But yeah. That is pretty much it. Let me know down below what you guys think. Obviously, I have a bit different takes than you guys. We don't have the same takes. Sorry this took so long. Hopefully you guys got lucky. If you guys did summon, and if you guys are saving, let me know what you guys are thinking you're saving for. Like, what do you think is going to be dropping soon? Maybe it's swimsuits, maybe it's end of month, or maybe it's Annie. Who knows? But either way, long video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care. Peace out.